All right, so yeah, Atraxa is one of the best natural order targets of all time, and one of the best reanimation targets of all time, and one of the best sneak attack targets of all time. All right, you know what? No Atraxa today. Atraxa's banned for today. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Before we get started with our natural order goodness here, I want to do a quick data update. I'm recording this on June 30th, the day after the BNR dropped, and we just got our recent MetaMage results update. So when I recorded the video for my BNR update, Tron had about a 52% win rate. And now that we have another week worth of data in there, it's at a 50.8%. And this is from June 1st to June 30th. So the vast majority of this time is before the bannings. And Tron was not doing well as far as we can see with the publicly available win rate data. And it was very actively declining in play rate as well. And when we look at the win rate data here, it's actually Reanimator and Doomsday that are doing very, very well, and this was true in the previous data set as well. So if you're wondering, Phil, why do you seem so critical of this ban wave? It's because it doesn't make sense to me based on any sort of data that we have at all, and the stuff in the article felt very out of touch and out of date. So Candelabra might have died for no reason. Feel free to discuss down in the comments below. All right, so today, let's resize this a little bit. Give those big creatures their own column. Today, Zyzeron has asked me to brew a Timmy natural order deck that does not include Atraxa. Now, as always, Atraxa is just the best natural order target in most cases where you can't directly kill your opponent with Craterhoof. That said, we've been asked to do this challenge, and here is what I came up with. For those of you not familiar with the term Timmy, it's generally speaking referring to doing big, fun, splashy, dumb stuff, rather than trying to 100% optimize to win. So what we are trying to do today is just hoof. Tunnel vision on hoof. We want big green damage. And to do this, I have put together a little bit of a funky Elves shell, sort of taking bits and pieces of a couple different deck lists I found online. We're playing two hoofs. Hoof is the plan, full stop. I think we do need a second natural order target for when hoof doesn't work directly for one reason or another, and Tyrranax Rex is what I am going for. Trample and haste on an 8/8 is pretty good, and ward 4 is rather respectable as well. The problem with not including Atraxa in your deck is that you don't get that stabilization button versus opposing decks. And a lot of times a fair deck just really can't beat a resolved Atraxa, because not only is it gumming up the board, giving you a large amount of lifelink that works both offensively and defensively, but you're also drawing 4-ish cards on average from an Atraxa. So instead, we are putting the pedal to the metal and we are trying to get our opponents dead. The current Legacy metagame is really fast and kind of supports that sort of playstyle. So I am looking to be a big mana deck. And one of the other ways other than hoof that we're going to win is just by using Allosaurus Shepherd's 6-mana ability to turn our elves into 5/5s here. So you'll notice that I'm not playing things like Ignoble Hierarch and Birds of Paradise that a lot of these decks normally might play. I am going in on just generic elves. I'm trying to do this without Glimpse of Nature, and I'm trying Eladmri Korvecdal. And rather than glimpsing to draw cards, which triggers Orcish Bowmasters, I'm just going to cast creature spells from the top of my library. We are at a whopping 30 creatures in this deck, so literally half of the deck is creatures. So most turns I can theoretically grind some value with this. And it also has an ability to kind of play around counter spells by letting you tap 2 untapped creatures you control, and Eladmri, of course, to reveal a card from your hand or the top card of your library, and if it's a creature card, you just put it onto the battlefield. So sometimes we will just Craterhoof for 1 mana, which is kind of cool. and we can do it in an uncounterable way, which is neat as well. So we can cast Hoof, we can Green Sun for Hoof, we can Eladmri for Hoof, and we're also going to kind of do an in-between step where we can Green Sun or a Formidable Speaker, discard some card from my hand, and then find Craterhoof that way. It is possible I need another payoff card or two in this deck. I'm opting for Badgermole Cub because it presents so much additional mana from these elves and makes it easier to activate this for 6 mana while still attacking, or easier to cast Natural Order while still having bonus bodies around for Hoof. That's kind of what we're going for today. I do think Thoughtseize in game 1 is just fully required in the current metagame. If we're going to be doing a non-blue deck, I think you just need to be able to punch a hole in decks like Doomsday and Reanimator and Fantastic Card decks. And then as far as the sideboard goes, a lot of this is just going to be free cards to help us out with the opposing combo decks. We have a playset of Endurances for Reanimator, although oftentimes they will pivot out of the reanimation stuff for post-sideboard games. And we're going to play Force of Vigor for the Fantasticar nonsense that's going around. And to stick on theme of doing big, dumb, splashy things, Timmy style, we're going to throw a Ruric Thar in there as something that we can tutor up versus Doomsday to potentially give them some trouble with their very low life totals. And we're going to play an Alpha Deathclaw as an alternative thing that we can Natural Order for if we need to destroy an opposing permanent of some kind. This is our bigger, dumber, splashier Reclamation Sage of sorts. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hop into a league here. Folks, if you need any Magic cards, please consider getting them from my sponsor, toamagic.com. I have loved working with these folks. I sell them my Magic cards when I go to in-person Magic cons. And if you do that, you can actually submit your order online ahead of time, let them know exactly what you are going to sell, and kind of drop off your collection with ease. So with that being said, let's battle. All right. This looks sweet to me. Misty Rainforest comes down. Oh no, we might just die to storm stuff here. What is that? Oh no, it's show and tell stuff. That's an Omniscience. Okay, cool. Well, that's not bad. I think I still want to play a Llanowar Elf on turn 1 though. Do this off a basic forest. Opponent brainstorms. I don't think this is in response to my Llanowar Elf. I think this is like, okay, I know what you're doing now, and I'm going to Misty anyway. So I am probably looking to play Allosaurus Shepherd next turn. Another Chromox. That's 5 mana. That's a scary amount. Oh, just straight up Lorien revealed. Okay, I mean, that's better than me eating it to other stuff here. So there's an Allosaurus Shepherd. Now all of my stuff is uncounterable. There's a Quirion Ranger. I will untap Llanowar Elves, bounce this forest, replay forest. I could play another Quirion Ranger and do the same thing. I think I just want to Green Sun, though. I would like to be able to use both of my lands next turn. Let's get an Elvish Mystic. Opponent brainstorms. It's show and tell. There's a Quirion Ranger. That's not quite as good as Omniscience, unfortunately. That is a Seagate Restoration, so my opponent drew a lot of cards. I have my opponent dead next turn to Natural Order. I go 1, 2, 3, untap, 4, uncounterable hoof, 4 lethal. Oh, we have gotten spicy. Thanks, I hate it. So my opponent has bounced their Mox, so they can just start bouncing my Elves. Or alternatively, bouncing the One Ring. Either way, it's bad for me. So they're just going to loop the One Ring and this Mox. Yeah, that will draw their whole deck. I'm used to Hullbreaker Horror loops looking a little different than this. Usually in CEDH, there's not an Omniscience in play. Alright, this is kind of sweet. I'm going to give you relevant updates at this point, as my opponent might do this for a while. A few spells later, my opponent has an Emrakul, which will handily beat me. Rough. GG. So, I can attempt to fight against resolved things. I don't know how excited I am about doing that. I think just trying to turn 3 my opponent is what I want to be doing. I think I'm going to board 2 more large creatures here that I randomly can put in via an Omniscience. Put in via a Show and Tell. I could play Craterhoof as a bullet versus fair one ring stuff. I don't hate that. But I think in a lot of cases, if my opponent Show and Tell's Omniscience has priority and casts a thing, I think the Hull Breacher or Horror Emrakul style cards are going to just beat me a lot of the time anyway. I don't know that I want to fight over Omniscience. I'm going to go down 1 hoof, as I'll have a wider variety of targets. I'll maybe shave one of these, shave one of these. All right, how fast can I Alpha Deathclaw? Turn 1, Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. Turn 2, Badgermole Cub. I think I just keep this. I think I keep this because I have Alpha Deathclaw, which is a singleton for when my opponent casts Show and Tell. I think I am still gonna Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor here. I could play Fair Badgermole Cub on turn 2 as my way to thread this game instead and then try to save the Green Sun for a tutor target. Double check. I don't think I have a Surveil land. I think all of my lands are untapped. Yeah. So in that case, I don't know that it matters a ton how exactly I thread this one. Do I show Cradle? I don't know that I need to show Cradle here. Get that Taiga. Give him some fear. 4 mana. Are you just going to ring me? You're just going to ring me. That'll buy my opponent some time. I can straight up cast this Alpha Deathclaw now. I don't know that that makes sense. I can do it and blow up, say, Ancient Tomb. I think I want this for the Show and Tell. It's just incredibly, incredibly bad if this gets countered. That maybe should have been Dryad Arbor. Opponent will go to 17. I don't know, maybe there's timelines where I need double Cradle. Let's everybody attack if Hoof gets involved. Chrome Mox. No imprint on that Chrome Mox. Okay, so I will Alpha Deathclaw. My opponent puts in an island. Uh-oh. I'll snag Ancient Tomb here. My opponent will float the mana. And then presumably they are going to Show and Tell a second time now. Alright, how much mana do I have right now? Easily enough to activate Alpha Deathclaw. So we'll just kind of see if there is a priority pass that lets me do something cool. Alright, Seagate Restoration. Gajillion mana. I will become monstrous and destroy that Omniscience. Opponent gets a few cards. Is this just lethal? This is just lethal. Hell yeah. Good shit, Alpha Deathclaw. GG's. Very fast games here. So, on the draw, do I want to try to fight over Omniscience? It's pretty reasonable. I'd get rid of Wirewoods. Not super expecting my opponent to be trying to remove my Elves. That gets me 3 of the 4 of these pretty easily. And I could just eliminate a little bit more of my ability to grind. Maybe the ability to grind straight up doesn't matter. I could leave 1 as a Green Sun target. Maybe it's just better to keep that last Badgermole Cub. Alright. This isn't perfect, but it sure does have the singleton Alpha Deathclaw. Muscle emoji, muscle emoji, muscle emoji. Gonna be a little harder to get the correct amount of mana this game, though. I could really use another non-Gaia's Cradle land here. Opponent is going to fetch in response. Presumably that means Brainstorm, hide the goodies. Oh no, it's just Cycle Lorien revealed. Sure. Ooh. Force of Will, straight up pitching a Commandeer. Woo! Alright. Another basic island comes down on my opponent's end. That's not what I am looking for. Things are fine as of next turn. They're just not particularly good as of right now. Like next turn, I will play a Badgermole Cub. I will turn either Cradle or Bayou into a thing. You jamming? No, you're stocking up. And then the following turn, I will have Natural Order. And we'll see what I end up natural ordering for based on context at the time. Holy shit, Badgermole Cub. All right. 1-2 Badgermole Cub. Turn Gaia's Cradle into a creature. Then I think I will untap that creature and bounce Bayou. Then go 4 mana. I could shove Natural Order right now. My opponent has used 1 Force of Will already. Yeah. Sack you? So you untap Cradle. I sack Badgermole Cub. Alright, let's shove. Alright, so I can attack for 8, or I can throw Ruric Thar into play. I wish I could Atraxa to look for another Thoughtseize. I think I'm going in. This just kills next turn. And we have to hope that Alpha Deathclaw can get us through the turn. Opponent to 9. The poison counters probably not overly relevant here. Hot damn. We raced show and tell. Woo! Timmy Atraxa deck puts up the first win. GG's. Incredibly fast-paced legacy, though. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I love them. I have over 1,000 deck lists here. And I think the thing that I like the most about them is they're more than just a basic deck builder. If you need information about your next pre-release or where you can get cards, they have that sort of stuff here too. Whether you need to manage your collection or just a couple of decks, Moxfield does it all. So go check them out. All right, my opponent is on 6 cards. I've kept my opening hand. Ooh, we're going fast. That is kind of the name of the game in Legacy right now. Monolith gets untapped. That's the One Ring. Seems good. Did I get on my soapbox and talk about how I thought the One Ring should go from that deck if anything was to go from my deck? Nah. Bobble as well. Bobble probably means that my opponent is doing Fantastic Horror Crimes. That would otherwise be a little bit weird in this shell. I will go ahead and grab a basic forest, make my stuff uncounterable, which can be relevant if my opponent is doing Chalice. My guess is no. Like, my guess is that my opponent just wants to shove things like One Ring, Fantastic Karn. I don't know exactly how big they're going to go with their mana. One Ring gets untapped. Opponent has 9 cards in hand. Fair and balanced magic card. City comes down now. Another Grim Monolith. There's the Fantasticar. And I am now probably going to take 16. Yeah. My turn 3 natural order stuff is not going to be fast enough here. Yup. Go to 3. So I can poop a couple of bodies in play, but nothing is going to stop all of those cars at the same time. Opponent has got it here. Blah, blah, blah. GG. So I want Ruric Thar in, Craterhoof in, 4x Force of Vigor in. Turn 1 Hoof into Ruric Thar. What am I trimming for the other cards? Turn 1 Wirewood into Craterhoof. Am I getting rid of all of the bridge cards because I assume there is no mid-game? There is just the early game? That seems reasonable. Maybe I should have built this deck even more aggressively than I already did. Yes? I'm going to assume yes. It's a little weird, but I imagine that I can't do too much better than turn 1 and turn 2 Thoughtseize. Petrified Hamlet, wild. Okay, so I will take the Fantasticar and not take any chances with this. And then at some point I Force of Vigor, Urza's Saga, and probably Grim Monolith at the same time. So there's Saga. I don't think I'm taking that out immediately. I will go green mana, Quirion Ranger, bounce my Bayou so that I can reuse it, play Bayou, cast Thoughtseize. Opponent can dismember my elf, which is fine. And then if my opponent drew anything good, I can take it. They didn't. I'll take the Grim Monolith. And now I can decide whether or not I want to Force of Vigor this. My opponent can make the construct tokens. I kind of like my cards. I don't know. Maybe I should not say no to Sinkhole. Petrified Hamlet comes down. My opponent can turn Misty into a land that taps for colorless, which is fine by me. I will go bam. Fetch. I want Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor can be turned into a colorless source. I don't actually love that. I'll pick up Taiga on the off chance that I end up drawing that Ruric Thar. There's another Urza Saga. It is inconvenient. One of those hamlets is gone. Badger Mole Cub is fine. I will Earthbend. Now I just need one more mana to natural order. Saga goes up. Hamlet is here. Wooded Foothills is the name. Opal is now in play. It boosts the size of the construct token. I have 3 mana this turn, unfortunately. I will, without doing math, I imagine I have natural order for lethal next turn, though. Not gonna attack into this stuff. My opponent gets a creature, and then can make another on their own turn. They're just getting a bauble. There's a manifold key. These are already quite large. Opponent's gonna swing in. I can do the Llanowar Elves bounce trick, but I think I just want to natural order. So I will just take that hit for 5. Atraxa would be bananas here. Just stabilize the board and be able to attack in the air. City comes down. This shrinks, which is relevant. So my opponent gets their redraw. There's Misty, which is one of these. So that'll tap for colorless. So is Hoof lethal? I will have 4 bodies. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24. Yeah, lethal. Lethal, assuming no nonsense. Oh, wait, hold on. This isn't green. So I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sacrifice the elf. Yeah. So, yeah. Ooh. Opponent's got their Trixies. I hoof. So now this isn't lethal anymore, right? 25? No, 25 should be good. The opponent absorbs that and then goes to -2. Alright, GG. Turns out we didn't need Atraxa. Just get him dead still worked despite the untapping. So I have 4 Force of Vigors, which covers Fantasticar as well as Urza Saga tokens. I have Craterhoof. I think I'm okay with this. Oh, that's a weird looking hand. I don't know that I throw it back or anything, but it's definitely weird. It's going to be very bad versus the One Ring, but pretty good versus Urza's Saga and Fantasticar stuff, so I think I just have to keep it. Spell 1, Ancient Tomb. Spell 2, that's spell 3. I can let that one resolve, and then Force of Vigor. That is a Chalice of the Void. Force of Vigor, target Fantasticar, and Mox Opal. I think I just pitch Craterhoof here. It's not really realistic to expect to cast that hoof in this position. The kind of bad part here is that my opponent can still just, like, get the One Ring and recover from this easily. I'm going to leave Dryad Arbor in hand for another Force of Vigor and pass the turn here. I might end up... So if I fetch Dryad Arbor, next turn I have 1, 2 mana. Yeah. Let's just not give my opponent mana off of Urza Saga here. Yeah, the fact that I can Force a Vigor twice like this and I'm still just terrified of land drop into the One Ring is very telling. All right. In for 1. Opponent to 17. Manifold Key is fine. What's that? Chalice on 1 is a little more annoying. I have access to Bayou, so I think this will just be Taiga. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why you do that one. Bayou in play. Attack for 1. I don't know if Tyrranax Rex is gonna beat Urza's Saga. Oh, that's interesting. Can I cast multiple things here? Play Cradle, turn it into a creature? Have 3 creatures plus Dryad Arbor? Yeah. Okay. Cub, you are a creature. You are 4 mana by yourself. Get rid of the Badger Mole Cub? Yeah? Alright, how much is Hoof right now? So I attack with 2 bodies for a lot of damage, but it's not lethal. I get 6 from the triggers, 5 from hoof, that's 11, 12. My opponent is kind of at 12 if you squint at it funny. I think I'm getting Tyrranax Rex. I guess I've pitched hoof, so I guess that's not even in the conversation. Alright. I boarded the other hoof out. So I go in for 8, but then this creature is just not gonna get in again. I wish I had Atraxa. Down to 6. So that Urza Saga activation puts my opponent to 4. That puts them to 2. So any other spell they cast this game will kill them. I don't think they actually have creature spells. Mox Opal comes in. Oh wow, opponent attacked. That's oh no, they have Manifold Key, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I will take that hit. Go to 13. Alright, if I play Badgermole Cub and turn Bayou into a land, or sorry, Bayou into a creature, I can still cast Ruric Thar afterwards. I guess I can make Taiga into the creature. I did not check for lethal this turn. I think I am fine waiting a turn and then sending everyone at once. Like, I just can't think of anything that beats me there. Yeah. Yep, I am terrified of this deck. We had double Force of Vigor blowing up Fantasticar and an Urza Saga, and we still, like, were absolutely terrified of this last Urza Saga. We are winning our matches here with our Timmy Natural Order deck, but holy cow, these are fast games of Legacy. GG's. Alright, opening hand is perfectly reasonable here. I think I'm just going for a Dryad Arbor on turn 1 to take best advantage of Gaia's Cradle on turn 2. And I think I'll do this off a basic. Grab Forest, grab Dryad Arbor off Green Sun. Beautiful. And then next turn I can play Allosaurus Shepherd, make my stuff uncounterable, and then stick this. This sounds pretty good. Basic Island. Basic Island does not cast removal spells. Usually. Nice. So, green stuff is uncounterable, which means my 1-drops are effectively free. So I will Wirewood, then go 3 mana, Gaia's Cradle for this. I will have a Badgermole Cub coming. I could do this in my upkeep. I don't know that I'm going to want to do that. Can I just hoof next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4 off Cradle. 5, 6, 7. What if I play Badgermole Cub? Turn Gaia's no. Alright. So I could go something like upkeep, tap, 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 get Badgermole Cub. Sure. So tap, tap. This is the first time we're grinding in this league. Badgermole Cub turns Forest into a creature. I will draw this Green Sun. There's a Natural Order coming next turn, which is uncounterable? Yeah, I don't know that I want to shuffle that. 1, easily 4, lethal. Yeah, I think I chill there. I now don't need this stop in the short term. Get Saucy Dryad Arbor. There's Flooded Strand. I will draw this Natural Order. That's effectively free. This already just casts the Natural Order. I'm going to maybe not. Ooh. If I'm playing against Fair Wasteland stuff, it just really doesn't seem like I need to risk getting blown out by a counter, like by Lightning Bolt here, Force of Will, your thing. I think I'm going to play slightly more conservatively here and get another one of these this turn. There's a Badgermole Cub. Yeah. Earthbend that land. You don't let me play lands, do you? No. Send in. Okay, opponent is just done with me. I didn't check for Allosaurus Shepherd lethal lines that turn. I think I had 5 mana. GG. So we are playing against what I'm going to presume is a tempo deck. I don't have confirmation of the second color. It could be some sort of like Riddler Felia deck. I think this is the first time where I don't objectively need Thoughtseizes. I think I'm going to play a couple of Abrupt Decays, I think I'm going to slot in a Ruric Thar that can potentially stop smaller attackers from getting through. If this is actually a blue-white deck, Endurance is not particularly good. If that's just a like flex blue fetch land from something like Is It Tempo, then Endurance is way better. I think I'm going to play the Alpha Deathclaw and play 1 Endurance to search up. There's also Snuff Out. I think I'm going to submit this, and I can readjust as I believe is necessary as this game goes on. I'll keep this. I think it's mediocre. Flooded Strand comes down. Now it's actively good. I'll start on the basic here and fetch the second Dryad Arbor out of the deck. This is the second Flooded Strand I've seen. Alright, so we are doing blue-white nonsense of some kind. Spell Snare. Probably a singleton. That is a Wasteland. My opponent did not use Wasteland on Dryad Arbor, which means they potentially value it for Cradle. It also potentially means Thalia is a thing. I might just be shoving this turn. I think I'm going to hold my Cradle in my hand and play Eladmri. That's a Brainstorm in response. My opponent does not like that. That is a Force of Will, pitching a Brainstorm. I, as of right now, just have Natural Order on my next turn. We'll see whether or not my opponent ends up wanting to Wasteland me to keep me off of that. I'll probably lose Bayou if that happens. It is Quantum Riddler, which looks like it's just going to warp out. That's in theory fine. Oh my god, that is the worst draw in my deck. That's what I wanted to tutor up. Oh. Okay. Wow, that was disastrous. Okay, I'll play this game out differently then. So here's Badger Mole Cub. I'll Earthbend this Bayou. Cradle. 3 mana. 4/5 mana. I will Natural Order. I think I'll get rid of Dryad Arbor. Tyrranax Rex is what I wanted. I can get Alpha Deathclaw and blow up one of my opponent's lands, or I can get Ruric Thar. I think I'm going to do the Deathclaw. And I can take them off of blue, or I can keep them from blowing up my Cradle. I think I'm going to take them off of blue. I just don't want them to be able to cantrip for Swords to Plowshares and answer my Alpha Deathclaw. God damn it. 1 in 49 chance to draw the Tyrranax Rex, by the way. Which plays around the Swords to Plowshares that I already wanted to play around. Alright, we are on Sad Creature Beatdown plan now. Yeah? Opponent takes 3. I'll hit him for 4 next turn. They unfortunately have another land. And Thalia will now be available. So that influences my attacks a little bit. Still need more mana for Tyrranax Rex. Opponent to 14. Prismatic Ending. That sets me back a lot. Alright. Yeah. 2 ya. Sad beats. I now only have 4 of the 7 for this. I guess I could have 1 more with Quarian Ranger. I'll hold the fetch land. I've used both Dryad Arbors already. Just confirming, I do have plenty of Bayou, so I can attack with everyone and not have to worry about being ambushed by Thalia. There's Thalia, fetch, Bayou, Abrupt Decay. Opponent takes 3, goes to 9. Ponder. That's a shuffle. That's great for me. No land drop means my attack in is safe here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 7. Oh wait, does Quarian Ranger untap get me there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Untap 7? Yes. Alright. Taiga. Bayou. 4, 5, 6, 4, 7. Yep. Alright. Green. Untap you. Bounce a forest. Tyrranax Rex. Can't be countered. Xaxes 9. Opponent says, that is definitely a Magic the Gathering card right there. Sure is. There's the GGs. All right. Despite drawing the singleton card that I wanted to Natural Order for, we stumbled our way to victory. The Timmy Natural Order deck is currently undefeated maybe on its way to a trophy. GG. So sometimes this happens when you're playing Gaia's Cradle decks, and you just have to mulligan, and that's a-okay. This is fine. Turn 1, Allosaurus Shepherd. Turn 2, double Quirion Ranger. Single Quirion Ranger, fetch Dryad Arbor, actually. I think I'm going to keep the extra land here over the second Quirion Ranger. And then I can do Quirion Ranger, untap Dryad Arbor nonsense to help power out Natural Order if things get a little weird. Yeah. My stuff is uncounterable. And Allosaurus Shepherd becomes the strongest removal magnet known to mankind. Another Flooded Strand matchup. Ooh, I don't mind that. I think I'll go ahead and just attack first. I don't want to put a Thoughtseize on the stack and then miss a point of damage because I didn't attack first. 19. And I think this is Bayou over getting a Dryad Arbor here. Let's figure out what's going on. Opponent will fetch. Removal spell, Brainstorm, what are we doing? Opponent is brainstorming. I suppose I am most afraid of this being Doomsday? Aha! That sure does look like Doomsday. What am I most afraid of? I am perhaps most afraid of the top card of my opponent's deck being Doomsday, and they go land drop Lotus Petal Doomsday. I think I will take the Lotus Petal. I will throw down a Quirion Ranger. I don't think I have Natural Order next turn since I opted to Thoughtseize. So my opponent probably gets a setup turn this turn, and Doomsday's next turn, and I have to hope that they can't win the same turn by finding a free cycler this turn. That was bottom. Cradle? Another Natural Order. Alright. So I will send in for 2 here. I fetch Dryad Arbor, and then I go 1, 2, 3 mana, bounce a regular forest, untap Dryad Arbor, 4 mana, hoof, dead. There's the Bloodstained Mire. Oh cool, opponent is just passing the turn. So assuming no utter nonsense, such as Orcish Bowmasters, I think I've got this one. Bonus land drop as well. So, untap Dryad Arbor, bounce this forest, uncounterable Natural Order. Math double check here. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, plus 5, 16. Craterhoof. Trigger on the stack even. And fetch a Dryad Arbor as well. Make it a touch bigger. Just in case something strange happens that I'm not anticipating. Alright, opponent is dead. Excellent, GG. So, is my opponent Vroomsday, where I also have to deal with a Fantastic car? Not all of them are right now. I think this half of the sideboard is stuff that I'm potentially interested in. I'm going to assume that I don't need to grind. I'm going to pull a hoof from the deck. One of those becomes Ruric Thar. It's very scary for a Doomsday player. Let's get Oof in there. I'm often trimming a Wirewood, and like I can get endurances that help versus Doomsday, where I can try to put cards on the bottom of my opponent's library to keep them from winning with Thassa's Oracle, or I can play Force of Vigor for the car. I'm going to get those endurances in. I maybe don't need 3 different Natural Order targets. I'm going to cut another Wirewood. I'm going to cut a Badger Mole Cub, and cut the Tyrranax Rex. I'll play 3 of the Force of Vigors before I know whether or not they have the car. I don't want to have too many dead cards for if the car is not a thing. This is fine. This is a very good 6-card hand that has a Craterhoof that might become a creature if I survive for long enough. And I don't remember whether or not I explicitly made this clear. Vroomsday is Doomsday that has about 3 copies of the Fantasticar. Very, very silly deck name. I approve. My opponent went into the tank a little bit, but did end up keeping their 6. Dark Ritual, immediate Doomsday. I have Endurance here. This is about the best that I could hope for. I can Thoughtseize on turn 1 and try to take something that could stop Endurance. Actually, is that better than just playing Allosaurus Shepherd and having uncounterable endurance in case their counterspell is going to be in this pile? Okay. So, Force of Will, Force of Will, Force of Will. My opponent has a Force of Will, either in pile or in hand. There's also some number of consigns. I don't see the LED, so that is either in hand or in pile. Yeah, I think I'm playing Allosaurus Shepherd on 1 for uncounterable endurance to play around the Force of Will. Let's Bayou. Alright, I'm gonna cross that off. Bayou, Allosaurus Shepherd. Pass turn. Opponent brainstorms. There's a polluted delta, and it looks like my opponent is now passing the turn, which gives me the opportunity to Thoughtseize them. Alright. So, I will now Thoughtseize you. These cards are now in a random order. Fatal Push. Hate that. It's Force of Will, Thassa's Oracle. I take Thassa's Oracle. If my opponent's next card is an Unearth, I endurance it back into deck, and I prolong the game. Alright. Take Oracle. Oh, shit. Ah! I was supposed to Dryad Arbor there. It's like a very big deal that I did not. I'm incredibly frustrated with myself for that. So now Gaia's Cradle doesn't tap for mana this turn. It's such an incredibly large punt. Now I don't get Natural Order. I think I can recover this by getting another Allosaurus Shepherd here to make my stuff uncounterable. But I could have just effectively ended the game. So there's Thassa's Oracle. It resolves, trigger on the stack, endurance, junking Craterhoof. Alright, GG. The game isn't over there, though. I think that was a bad concession, because my opponent can draw the other Thassa's Oracle, and then have 4 Devotion pips. Do I just have lethal with Hoof on the next turn? So I sacrifice Llanowar Elves. I get +2/+2. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 when I swing in. Yeah, I don't know if that one was over there. I made a very, very bad mistake in not playing out my initial Green Sun. I recovered from it, but I don't know that I deserve to. We are 4-0 and playing for a trophy. GG. All right. Playing for the trophy here. Opening hand is fine. All right. Dimir Tempo. Dimir/Grixis Reanimator. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize on 1. If this is Reanimator, I might need to do this sooner rather than later. What is that? Alright, when it deals combat damage to a player, exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card, +1/+1 counter. You don't. You may cast the exile non-land card until the end of turn. Mana of any color. Okay, got it. So, my opponent's Daze is kind of bad. Multiple flow states. Scary in the long term. Bowmaster's taking out my Allosaurus Shepherd is annoying. I think I'm taking the Thoughtseize. That's my plan. I think it's perfectly reasonable to take the Bowmasters, but with Thoughtseize gone, sometimes my opponent stumbles on mana and just ends up in a very, very bad place. So this will be Black Widow, which is fine. And I probably just end up playing a more mid-rangey game here. So yeah, get Bayou. Things are uncounterable, and this protects versus Bowmasters. Kind of the annoying thing that can happen here is my opponent randomly sniping my natural order targets with Black Widow. I will be taking this hit. Triggers. Quarian Ranger. That's fine. You can have that. Alright, opponent is going to hold open Orcish Bowmasters. So this is a little awkward for me. I think it just means I'm slowing down 5%. Land drop, Badgermole Cub. Gaia's Cradle becomes a land. 5 mana. This is now natural order around days. That seems fine. Sack the Badger Mole Cub. Alright, so if I get Hoof and my opponent attempts to junk Allosaurus Shepherd, I have 3 creatures in play when the triggers resolve, 2 attackers, so I get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not lethal. So we'll get Tyrranax Rex. I wish I had Atraxa in my deck. But hopefully this will do just fine. Ward 4 feels pretty silly. Alright, that does beat my opponent. GG. One more game win. We get the trophy without Atraxa. So it's looking like Dimir tempo. This probably means that I can play a slower, like, endurance, abrupt decay sort of game. Against Dimir tempo specifically, I'm not sure if I want Snuff Out. My guess is that the bulk of my opponent's creatures are going to be black. Like, I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing, like, Nethergoyfs, Barrowgoyfs, Black Widow sort of stuff. A Hoof can become Alpha Deathclaw. Formidable Speaker becomes Endurance. I could straight up play these games without natural order and make counter spells worse. What if I just don't play Thoughtseize? Let's try this first. That can get me 3 Endurances, an Abrupt Decay, and then I do what I'm often doing and trim 1 Wirewood for Abrupt Decay. Reasonable. I would like this hand to have more mana, but I will certainly keep it. I think that's just what I want here, is consistent mana to play mid-range cards that look like this. Another Aquarian Ranger. Alright, I am tired of the stack being on top of my library when I search. That's gotta go somewhere else. Basic land. Oh, no counter spells from my opponent. Good to know. They were just F6'd there. Surveil land? Alright, now they fetch. That can go over there. Alright, it is the Surveil land. Opponent keeps their card. Thoughtseize is going to reveal a very, very, very redundant hand here. I've lost Wirewood. Wasteland on Dryad Arbor is happening. Alright. That was my opponent's window to do it before I start doing stuff that looks like this. Aquarian Ranger. Aquarian Ranger's brother. Aquarian Ranger. Wait. Aquarian Ranger's sister. Other Aquarian Ranger. Second land drop. Black Widow comes down. Yeah, you got it. Green Sun is a thing? I'm going to attempt to trade for a Black Widow, I think. I'm going to send in. I don't have Cradle, so I don't super care about my creature count right now. So then I will untap a creature, bounce a forest, drop a land, and I think my stuff is resolving. I'm just going to clear my opponent's graveyard and pass here. Verdant Catacombs comes down, fetching for a flow state that definitely doesn't have 2 card types, which is great for me. Another Thoughtseize. Yeah, that's fine. I have 3 threats here. My opponent needed some counter magic there. Folks, that's the trophy. That is the 5-0 with Timmy Natural Order. GG's. What a wild deck. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Minus the fact that I think it would be improved just by throwing Atraxa into the deck list. This was really good. As it turns out, with current Legacy being as fast as it is, punch a hole, kill your opponent is a great way to be playing Legacy. And Thoughtseize, followed by relatively consistent turn 3 Natural Order for a lot of damage, was pretty darn good. I don't know if I even needed the mid-range grinding stuff in this list. It may legitimately be more optimal to like play 1 Atraxa here and then 3 more things that have CMC 1 or 2 to just try to go as fast as possible, as consistently as possible. And then you go to mid-range gameplay when that doesn't work in game 1, and like you board in your Abrupt Decays and your Endurances, and maybe you have a couple of these things as silver bullet targets. I conceptually like Formidable Speaker as a way to tutor for Hoof, and as a way to untap Cradle, but everybody just died or killed me before we really got into the mid-range wars. We beat the Orcish Bowmaster deck in the last round, and Orcish Bowmasters is one of those things that I'm worried about. I guess you can also, like, consider playing Glimpse of Nature and just say, Orcish Bowmasters be damned, we're going now. So from there, I guess the next question is this the best thing to shove? Like, having access to the entire Legacy card pool, do you really want to be a borderline mono-green deck that also has Thoughtseize? Probably not, but it did look damn good today. I wonder if you should straight up just play more Mana Dorks. Like, the Quarian Rangers can untap Cradle, which is kind of nutty, and same with Wirewood Symbiote, but I wonder if just maxing out on actual factual Mana Dorks is actually just good. Quarian Ranger is sometimes better than a Mana Dork because it untaps something and lets you make your land drop in your kind of land-light deck. Food for thought. There's definitely something here. I liked the sideboard options. The Endurances were great. The Force of Vigors were great. They did exactly the things that I wanted them to do. Shout out to Alpha Deathclaw for carrying the show and tell matchup. Alright, with that, I think I'm going to go find some lunch, do a workout. Folks, I hope you have a great day. If you have any nonsense that you want to see on the channel, please consider doing a donation deck list, and all of that information is available in the video description of every video. Have a great day, folks. See ya!